Welcome back, all you wonderful Rise of Kingdoms players out there. This is Dragothien here, and I've got my newly minted maxed Trajan, which my son so lovingly did without my authorization. Of course, he did it with my authorization. So, guys, Trajan, he's here. I went ahead and got him to 60 as well. I leveled him up a little bit with some KBK. Barbarians, but got tired of waiting at about level 15 and just boosted them all the way up. Plus, in the game right now, you have a wheel in front of you, and it has one Trajan, YSS, and Charlemagne, believe it or not. And I wanted to let everybody know and do a quick Trajan guide, a quick Trajan mastery series on how to use him. What do you need for him from an equipment standpoint? Can you use him unmaxed, or should you use him unmaxed? And also a talent guide, because I've got some talents for him as well. Now, this is not a pairing video, although I will be going over a few pairs because that does go into the type of gear that you're going to want to use. So first off, let's go through the skills again. We've done a little quick hit Who's Trajan kind of video, but never a full mastery guide. And now that I've used him in testing in the Olympia event, in game, he's definitely a must-have, and I will be redoing my legendary max order video because of Trajan as well. So first skill here, Trajan's Column. It's a very small nuke, but that's not why you get this skill. It's the rest of it. So 30% increased skill damage for 3 seconds and 50 rage per second for 3 seconds, which totals, again, 150 rage. However, your incoming damage is increased by 25%, meaning you take 25% more damage for 3 seconds. Not the end of the world, okay? Don't read too much into that. However, read a lot into the fact that you're going to be providing yourself and 4 of your other marches, or if you have less than 5 marches out altogether, you'll be helping out another alliance mate with 30% increased skill damage for 3 seconds, which should at least allow you to hit that second commander firing off his skill and giving everybody 150 rage every skill cycle. Well, hot damn, that's pretty sweet. We're going to go ahead and go forward. Number 2, expanding borders. Troops led by this commander, 20% increased defense and 20% increased health while outside of Alliance territory, which is where you should be. You should be pushing people. You should be aggressing the enemy. You should not be sitting on your territory staring at each other across from no man's land. You should be pushing your enemy, be on their territory, touch tips, and go have a good time with them on their territory and their space. And go ahead and buff everything for yourself and get some extra stats to boot. Number 3, Great Expeditions. This is a must-have skill. By the way, first 3 skills so far, must-have skills. Third skill here, troop capacity bonus 10%. Like it. Extra skill damage if you're using more than 3% or 3 unit troop types, which you should be doing because of the second part of this, increasing damage dealt to the target by 20% for 3 seconds after you use an active skill. Now, if it's just his, it's 3 seconds. That's still really good. If, for some reason, which I need to test it, if it does fire off for the second commander's active skill too, we'll know, and I'll tell you about that too, but that'll be 6 seconds. But this is a must-have skill, 20% extra damage for the secondary commander that you pair up with Trajan. He's already really good, and now we're adding more damage on top of it with, again, a little bit of a meh direct damage factor. You're not getting Trajan for nuking, by the way, guys. You're getting Trajan because he's a super tank on the field, coming up with his 4th skill, and he buffs the crap out of everything around you, and he debuffs the target with damage. Everybody keeps saying you can do 5-5-5-1 Trajan and be just fine. No, you cannot. You can be okay. You can be okay. 4th skill here, 6% stacks 10 times. This is a 60% defense buff once you get this Trajan engine running here, guys, okay? If you can get Trajan on the field, make sure he doesn't get targeted, and just have him attacking things after about 45 seconds, 30 to 45 seconds, he will basically be a mini tank, and he will need to be swarmed down to actually die. And if you actually micro this guy and pull him away a little bit, you can go ahead and pull him back and then attack something different. If you can try and keep him alive, this guy will absolutely murder everything on the open field and help the rest of the players around you, including your own marches, do exactly the same thing. So can you use him 5-5-5-1? Well, of course, you can use any commander 5-1-1-1. You can use Guan 1-5-5-5 if you want to. But why would you want to do that? Why would you want to do that? You want to use Trajan as an expertise commander. The expertise itself, not that great. It's an increase to the skill damage bonus and an increase to the rage per second by 10. This is not the big deal. The big deal is actually the fourth skill. The fourth skill, this 60% defense bonus, makes Trajan an absolute tank on the battlefield. And not only that, he's either going to do one of the following. If you pair him with Mulan or Joan, which sometimes those buffs don't sync up very well, but they still work together, you're going to be a buffing machine. You're going to be an absolute buff machine gun, okay? 2, if you want to be a buff debuff machine, you can pair Ethelfled or Barca with Trajan, and all of that happens very, very well, and you're doing even more damage, and you're doing even more debuff, and you're helping out your team and blah, 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 right? Or you can make him an absolute tank DPS murder machine and pair him up with a YSS, a YSG, a Herald, a William, a Saladin, an Artemisia, a Ramsay. Just pick any DPS commander and slap him behind Trajan, and he is instantly better. This is an amazing commander. He's universal as he gets. That's why we love YSG so much, right? Because he can be used as a secondary to any commander on the field. Well, guess what? Trajan can be used as a primary to any commander on the field. Now, again, his talents. Leadership, versatility, support. Not the best, but for his skills, I would argue it is the best as far as his universality of being able to be used with any commander. Reason being, when we go to the talents here, go ahead and scroll over here and see if I can give you the full picture. Wish I wasn't getting banners all over the place, but you get armed and armored to the teeth. This is very, very nice. 3% damage dealt, all damage dealt increase, and 3% damage taken reduction. So you're going to be doing 3% more damage all the time. You're going to be taking 3% less damage all the time. Okay. Also, with fresh recruits, you get more troop capacity. So now you're talking a 13% troop capacity bonus between your skills and your talents. You got normal attack damage bonuses with Steely Soul. You've got Hidden Wrath, which grants some more rage every time you are attacked. You've got Strategic Prowess, giving you troop defense by 20% for the next 2 seconds after using any skill, which is, again, popped twice. And again, also, I need to test it, but I'm almost positive that this is also proccing on non-active skills because it just says a skill. So maybe proccable skills like maybe Herald's Axes, Cyrus's extra skills that fire off, etc. may also proc Strategic Prowess. I'll double check just to make sure. I've never actually checked that, but reading it again makes me curious. Burning Blood, more rage being generated. Hasty Departure, always good to have some speed. And Rejuvenate, of course, the best rage generating talent in the game. 150 rage whenever a skill is used. That's 300 per skill cycle, people. Very, very nice. Enhancing your healing effects by 9% if for some reason you are using a healer behind Trajan. Skill damage taken reduction with loose formation. Of course, emergency protection, always very nice to get any additional skill damage reduction you can possibly get. And I like putting a couple points into Cage of Thorns for the AoE 10% snare. This is an open field guy. His main purpose, he can be used as other things, okay? But his main purpose is swarming targets with your other marches, with your other alliance mates in the open field. You want this guy out there putting it to some people, okay? That's what this guy is for. Now, we talked about some pairings. We talked about, is he usable non-maxed? If you want to have a severely nerfed version of Trajan, sure, go ahead. But I would recommend, and I would argue, that the more Trajans you have on the field, from a KVK standpoint, the better you're going to be. The more Trajans you have available in the middle for an arc match, whether it's Osiris League or regular arc, or the more Trajans you have available up front swarming structures, the better your chances are for victory. More Trajans equals more victory is kind of the mantra we're going for here. I wanted to test him out before I really kind of came up with this. When I first saw him, I was a little skeptical because I didn't know how well this was going to work. The 60% defense buff, because without this buff, and this is why I say you have to really max him to make him really good, like really, really, really good. Without this 60% stacking up the way it does, as quickly as it does, and as effectively as it does, Trajan gets swarmed down so quick. There's nothing else really. You got the defense and health bonus here, but this is not enough to keep up a march if it gets targeted. There's no kind of defense here with the exception of the extra troop capacity bonus. You're increasing damage taken to the target, which is nice, and again, makes it a priority target. Without this fourth skill, you know, it's the same situation with Guan, right? Or Herald even. They pump out a ton of damage. This guy pumps out a ton of buff and debuff and a little bit of damage, but he makes damage happen on the back end with his second commander. But with Guan and Herald, they pump out a ton of damage, but you can instantly target them and swarm them down unless you have a Leonidas or Trajan in front. So that's why he's so good. You've got to have this fourth skill max, and I'm looking at all these other skills. Not only can you not guarantee that you will not get points into them as you're coming to the fourth skill, but they're all really good. The third skill, 10% troop capacity, and the 20% increase to damage taken for the target. Gotta have them. You just gotta have them. 20% defense, 20% health when off territory. Gotta have them. Those are good things to have. First skill, gotta have the whole thing. Every single skill here is a good skill, and you gotta have them. The only skill that's not that great, or not like a must-have, is the expertise, which you get because you've maxed all 4 of the skills. Okay? So again, which kind of equipment do we go for? Well, really, it depends on what you could even maybe mix some different types of legendary. Oh man. When I was putting together the equipment piece of this guide, I came up with a little bit of an epiphany, and it's going to take too long to go through on this particular part of the video. Look for the pairing and equipment video for Trajan coming tomorrow. Right now, you're going to get what you've gotten so far, which is basically why Trajan is so good, which skills you should have him maxed out. Spoiler alert, all of them. And again, his talent build, which is something I went over as well. And really, again, the general thought process behind the equipment is it depends on your second commander that you pair with Trajan. So if you're going with a Herald or an Alex or something, you go with infantry style gear that's infantry heavy, because your troop composition will be 90% infantry, 5% archer, 5% cavalry. You want to buff the troop type that you've got the most of with the biggest buffs from your gear, and then proc it leadership if you happen to proc that equipment that you're making. Okay, but as far as the exact set, I'm going to make a video specifically on that because I thought of something that may make a lot more sense and give you even more stats, and I don't want to spoil it, and I definitely don't want to shortchange that thought because it could be a game changer. So I'm going to leave you hanging on that note. I hope you guys have enjoyed this Commander Mastery series for Trajan. He is, again, a must-have commander for almost every fighting thing in this game. And again, need to redo my Commander Max order video because of Trajan. Spoiler alert, he is top 3 now. Yeah. So I will see you guys next time. This was a second video for today. It was a little ad hoc because I wanted my kingdom and all of you to have access as to what to do with Trajan, why you should max him, how quickly should you max him, what you should do when you get him in your stable, and how to build him and why he's so important. So hope it's been helpful. I will see you guys next time. Cheers, have a good one, and take care.